I don't know about you guys, but one of my most anticipated movies for next year. By the way, 2023 is completely stacked for movies. Have you guys checked out that lineup? It's insane. But one of those of the many I'm excited about is the fifth Indiana Jones movie. Harrison Ford's swan song for what is it, the third time? He had Last Crusade, then he had Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now he's got this fifth one coming out. Well, little has been known about Indiana Jones 5 up until this point. We haven't really gotten too much information about it, but just recently, Empire Magazine did a really great spread, giving us a lot more updates on what we can expect from this fifth Indiana Jones movie. Here's what they had to say over at Empire. Empire can reveal that Indiana Jones 5 finds our hero in 1969 living against the backdrop of the space race. But the American effort to beat the Russians to the moon brings with it some uncomfortable truths for Indy. The simple fact is that the moon landing program was run by a bunch of ex-Nazis. Indiana Jones 5 co-writer and acclaimed British playwright Jez Butterworth tells Empire. How ex they are is the question, and it gets up Indy's nose. Pitch in Indiana, a man always looking to the secrets of the earth rather than the stars, into the era of the astronaut finds him even more a man out of time. It's not just that the model of what a hero has has completely changed, says Butterworth. It's not just that they're looking for something where there's nothing up there. It's like Reno without the gambling or whatever his line is. But the people that are behind it are, his sworn enemies. Goes on to say, enter Mads Mikkelsen, villainous Valder see above. That's the picture I have right there. Inspired partly by real-life Nazi turned NASA engineer Werner von Braun. I probably totally butchered that name. Sorry, but he's an ex-Nazi, so maybe I'm not so sorry. He's a man who would like to correct some of the mistakes of the past, teases Mikkelsen of Valder. There is something that could make the world a much better place to live in. He would love to get his hands on it. Indiana Jones wants to get his hands on it as well. And so we have a story. That comes to us from Empire Magazine. Now, I gotta tell you guys, like I said, there hasn't been much known about Indiana Jones up until this point, but I love this. I think this is great. I think this is a natural way to take the Indiana Jones franchise, because let's face it, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which got a lot of hate. I don't hate that movie as much as a lot of people do, but I can admit the flaws. And Indiana Jones up against the Russians wasn't nearly as exciting as Indiana Jones versus the Nazis in the original trilogy. Now, this is a very smart, organic way, I think, to bring the Nazis back as a villain. And I really like that this feels like the filmmakers behind this are really looking to that original trilogy, what people loved about it. And I feel like they're really going to try and capture what made that original trilogy feel so great. Because, as it mentioned as well, this is partly based off of a real figure that was in our world. And I think that's going to add a little bit more of the menace of the villain. Now, we didn't just get some information from Empire Magazine, because we also got some information about the movie from Hollywood Reporter, and here's what they had to say. The film's opening will be set in 1944, about 8 years after the events in Raiders took place. De-aging technology will have Ford going up against Nazis in a castle. Old footage of the actor was utilized to help recreate the illusion, along with the actor's original jacket from Raiders. I think that's super awesome. It goes on to say, Mangold explains he wanted the chance to dive into this kind of full-on George Lucas and Steven Spielberg old picture and give the audience an adrenaline blast, so that the audience doesn't experience the change between the 40s and the 60s as an intellectual conceit, but literally experiences the buccaneering spirit of those early days. And that comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. Now, I've seen people online, they're kind of freaking out by this quote that they're going to de-age Harrison Ford. I think this is a really cool idea to, as he says here, connect us to the original trilogy. And I honestly am very impressed with the progression of the de-aging technology. I think the first time I really saw and took notice of the de-aging technology was Michael Douglas in Ant-Man. And I thought it looked great. And I just think it's gotten better and better and better, especially on the Disney side of things as it's gone on. So I have no doubt that this is probably going to look really great. And I'm honestly, I get kind of giddy when I hear that we're going to get to see Harrison Ford in his prime as Indiana Jones once again with some technological illusions, fighting Nazis. I'm sure this will connect to the main villain of the movie in some way, but I also love the way that they describe it as James Mangold wants to dive into this kind of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg old picture. it just, for me, that shows respect for what came. That shows respect for the people that created this franchise. James Mangold is the first person to ever direct an Indiana Jones movie that wasn't Steven Spielberg. I can't even imagine what kind of pressure that is on him. But the fact that I just feel like this guy's passion is into it. I feel like he has respect for the source material, and I just feel, after reading these quotes and after reading a little bit more of the synopsis of the story that they've come up with, I feel like this Indiana Jones 5th and Harrison Ford's final movie is in really good hands. Now, along with some quotes, we also got our first look at some images from the movie. We got this look in Empire from it's Harrison Ford. It's the first look at Harrison Ford in this movie. Looking great. I mean, honestly, I would not guess that guy is 80. Maybe an early 70s, late 60s at the most. He looks so good, and he just looks great once again as Indiana Jones here. You can't really see it, but down in the corner of this picture, down at the very end of his ring finger, you can see the tip of a wedding ring, because as we know, he got married to Marion at the end of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So I wonder if she's going to come back. I wonder if she's going to have a play in this thing. We also, if I can pull it back up here real quick, we also got our first look at Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who is playing Indiana's goddaughter. So she's going to be along for the ride. The more I hear about Indiana Jones 5, the more that I see these images, the more that I see Harrison back in the fedora, I can't deny it. I'm super stoked for this movie. I think it looks great. I think it's in really good hands. I cannot wait for a trailer. Sounds like we're getting one less than a month, so hopefully that comes quicker than later. What do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of the synopsis? What do you guys think of the details? What do you guys think of the first images? Comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions. Are you looking forward to Indiana Jones 5, or do you think they're just milking the cow at this point? Comment down below. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions, and let's take a look at what you guys are saying about that.